Welcome back. Markets are rallying this Friday morning. Take a look at futures indicating a triple-digit move at the start of trading. The Dow Industrial's up 194. The Nasdaq right now up 67, and the S&P higher by 23. 15 minutes before the jobs numbers are out. Now to China. Beijing is now considering official trade talks with the United States, but it is also requesting that Washington cancel its unilateral tariff measures first. The tariffs already taking a toll on China. The April manufacturing activity in China seeing its sharpest downturn in more than a year. Now, the CCP is quietly exempting a quarter of U.S. imports, which is around $40 billion. That includes more than 130 items like pharmaceuticals and industrial chemicals. I spoke with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent about it all yesterday, and he's told me that China's economy is in big trouble if they do not negotiate. Watch this.
I think first there will need to be a de-escalation on these very large tariffs. 145 and 125 are not sustainable on the Chinese side. We saw some very poor GDP numbers out of them. Out of China yesterday. We're now seeing very large estimates of job growth loss from 5 to 10 million jobs. So the Chinese economy is slowing down substantially here. So we will likely revisit the purchase agreements that were put together in the first China trade agreement in January of 2020 to make sure that the Chinese are honoring those agreements. And then we are going to push for fair trade with China.
Joining me right now is the host of Making Money here on Fox Business, Charles Payne. Charles, great to see you. Lots to talk about this morning. 15 minutes before the jobs numbers, we've got China giving the U.S. a little bit of an olive leaf here. No, I mean, exempting certain products, saying it wants to talk about trade. What do you think?
Absolutely. They're doing a major. Usually a country negotiating, having tough negotiations with another country will do things for public consumption in their own country. Because the media hates Trump so much in this country, China knows it can do things for public consumption in both countries. So, on the surface, no one's made a phone call. We don't care. We're in this to the death, invoking Mao and the Mao's Great March and how he went into the mountains and hid out for a year, whatever. This is not modern. That's not modern China, right? These are the class warfare there, the inequality there. The rich folks there couldn't last. They won't be able to hold out. Neither will the nation.
That's right.
Let's not forget. They had a massive stimulus plan in January. Oh, before that, they had a massive stimulus plan in October. They've had a massive stimulus plan like almost every other month for the last year. The bazooka, this time it's going to work. They've made so many mistakes. The biggest mistake overall has been, of course, the one-child policy. They can't walk that back. It's not working out. They mishandled COVID massively, and they're in trouble. They're in a lot of economic trouble. It won't be reported on this side because too many people in the media really would love to see Trump fail in this effort. But
that's right.
The facts are facts, and I'm glad Bessent has that quiet, calm strength and resolve. By the way, the futures being up right now, let me tell you what the bears are upset about. The fact that they're saying that China's emphasizing that any possible dialogue or talks with the United States has no sincerity at all and will further damage the mutual trust between the two nations, and we must drop unilateral tariffs.
Yeah.
Listen, again, that's public consumption. These are more than olive branches. They want a deal.
Yeah, but this is all about the Chinese trying to look proud,
right?
Like it's not caving to the United States. But we know where the economy was before this. We know where the economy is now. We know what will happen to the economy if they have to eat these tariffs. And President Donald Trump understands China. And that's why I have to say that one of his most important moves in the first 100 days is ripping the Band-Aid off of communist China. These exemptions, and these are quiet exemptions, as you said, Beijing doesn't want to look like it's caving, but they include areas where Beijing is still reliant on America. Things like American products in this attempt to mitigate damage to the Chinese economy and avoid a collapse on key imports. The report comes from Bloomberg that it started exempting some U.S. goods from tariffs covering $40 billion in imports in an effort to soften the blow here. But look, it's no good news when the U.S. and China are both looking at issues for the economy, right, Charles? As much as we want to see the adversary fold to America, right, if China and the U.S. are both under pressure, that's not good. So that's why we're looking ahead to the April jobs number. It's out in about 12 minutes. Economists are expecting growth in jobs. 130,000 jobs is the consensus for April. The unemployment rate is expected at 4.2%. Charles, Piper Sandler is below the consensus. They think it's going to be 125,000 jobs when we get this number. What do you think?
It's amazing because HSBC is at 73,000 and JP Morgan's at 170,000. So you're right. There's a wide gulf there. I'm not even sure anymore. I've lost so much faith in these numbers, and I wish the Fed found other ways to enact their policy, to be quite frank with you. I do think what's more important is how the street reacts to it. And it's really interesting to me. The bond market sort of believes that the number could be weak, but I think the stock market would like to see a stronger number, a number that shows how resilient our economy is. By the way, this earnings season has echoed that. If you think of the companies that couldn't give guidance and things like that, these are companies that have been hurting for years. Most large companies that have executed well over the last few years, none of them have made a U-turn, you know. And so I like to see us continue to have a number right about in line with consensus. And continue to give us strength in terms of the negotiating table.
Yeah, I mean, look at yields, Charles. The 10-year is now up 0.8 of a basis point ahead of the number. It's at 4.22%. Oil prices have plummeted. Mortgage rates have come down. We saw a contraction in the economy this week. So I know you're going to be interviewing OMB Director Russell Vought today. Yeah, that's going to be an important interview, Charles.
This is huge. This is absolutely huge. Really, so much of the Trump policy, it's not just tariffs, right? It's tariffs, taxes, security, border control, and, of course, slimming down the government. So this is a key central part of that. Already the criticism is coming, so I cannot wait to speak to Russell Vought today.
Yeah, don't forget about deregulation, Charles.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the most important parts of the president's agenda. And everybody's all up in arms about tariffs. Don't forget tax extensions. Don't forget deregulation. These are huge moves that the president is making.
And all of them fit together. They're all part of the same puzzle. He went after the toughest part first because that's what Donald Trump does, I guess.
Yeah, all right. Stay right there, Charles. We want to get into the jobs panel as well because we got all hands on deck for the jobs numbers.